Good evening. I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of the Round Lake Area Board of Education on December 8th, 2025 at 6:59 p.m. If I can get started first with a roll call, please.
Miss Lee? Here. Mrs. Klingler?
Here.
Mr. Francisco?
Here.
Mrs. Larson?
Here.
Mr. Jewett?
Here.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley?
Here.
Mr. De Vera?
Here.
And first up is our Pledge of Allegiance.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first up, we're going to need an approval of the meeting agenda. There are two amendments that we need to do on that. Under number 5, communications to the board, Section A, BPAC update, and Section B, CEDAW Governing Board recap. Those are going to be removed and they will be returned to a future agenda, to a future board packet. So if I can get a motion to approve the meeting as amended.
So
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jewett, seconded by Mrs. Klingler. Roll call, please.
Miss Lee?
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler?
Yes.
Mr. Jewett?
yeah.
Mr. De Vera?
Yes.
Mrs. Larson?
Yes.
Mr. Francisco?
Yes.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley?
Yes.
We have an approved agenda, and first up on that is special recognition and presentations. And first up there are our October athletes of the month. And that would be, I'm guessing, Mr. Karolzak.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Excuse me. So it is my honor and privilege to present our October athletes, our female October athletes of the month this evening. We just because of how this fall and winter seasons end, we won't have November athletes of the month because most of our athletes weren't competing during that month. But if they were, these two probably would have won it then also. And I'm not a big one for ties or everybody gets a trophy, but trying to pick one over the other from these two young student athletes was virtually impossible. And so that is why we have female athletes of the month for October. Both young ladies are members of our varsity flag football team. They were instrumental in flag football winning the first of what I believe to be many regional championships. And I don't want to steal too much of Coach Hennig's thunder, so I'll bring her up now, and she can go into greater detail honoring these two young ladies. If you can't tell, I'm trying to buy a little bit of time because one of them is not here yet, and I believe should be walking in the door in about a minute and a half, but we're going to go ahead and get started anyhow. So our co-female athletes of the month for October from girls flag football are junior Maya Hagee and sophomore Aria Randolph. Here to recognize both of them is head flag football coach Molly Hennig.
Tonight, I have the privilege of honoring two remarkable young women, two athletes who not only elevated our program, but who helped shape the very identity of our team this season. Both of these girls served as our captains, leading us through every high and low. Their steady presence, their resilience, and their belief in each other helped guide our team to a historic milestone, the first girls' regional championship since 1991. That accomplishment alone speaks volumes, but what truly sets them apart is the way they carried themselves, always with heart, always with commitment, and always with pride in their teammates. First, Maya. Maya showed an exceptional level of poise and leadership, especially in the biggest moments of the year. Against undefeated number 1 seeded Hananiga, she played with a calm confidence that inspired everyone around her. Her performance throughout the season placed her first in the entire state in total yards, an incredible achievement that reflects both her talent and her unshakable competitiveness. And then Aria. Thanks, Aria. Aria's journey is one of the most remarkable transformations we've seen. As a freshman, she saw limited playing time on defense and only a handful of touches on offense. But she didn't let that define her. Instead, she committed herself to growth. She played basketball, she ran track, and she used every season, every practice, and every opportunity to get stronger, faster, and more confident. That work paid off in a big way. Her sophomore season was nothing short of dominating. 22 touchdowns, 128 tackles, including an incredible game where she recorded 19 tackles against Grades Lake North. There's a picture on Instagram. She has like 19 flags she's holding. It's pretty cool. A performance that felt almost unreal. Her leap from a developing freshman to an all-state sophomore is a testament to her work ethic, her determination, and her love for competing. Together, Maya and Aria helped lead our team, our program, and our school to new heights. Their all-state honors are not just awards, they are reflections of the countless hours of work, sacrifice, and leadership, and the love for the game. We are incredibly proud of both of them. Congrats, Maya and Aria, our all-state athletes.
And next up is our Round Lake Exchange Club Youth of the Month.
Good evening. I'm the lucky Exchange Club member this evening that gets to introduce our Youth of the Month. This month's Youth of the Month is Ashley Valdovinos, and she was recommended by her counselor, Kelly Snyder. I'll be reading her recommendation tonight that was prepared by Miss Snyder. It is with immense pleasure that I introduce our December Youth of the Month, Ashley Valdovinos. Ashley stands out as one of the most driven and empathetic students that I have encountered. Her passion for science, particularly the complex intersection of brain chemistry and molecular biology, is evident in her focused coursework, her active participation in the Future Medical Panthers, and her successful completion of the Medicina Academy Apprentice program at the University of Illinois at Chicago. This intensive program, designed to prepare Latino high school students for medical careers, provided her with higher education courses, lab sessions, and in-depth STEM knowledge, demonstrating her readiness for advanced study. Beyond her grades, what truly distinguishes Ashley from others is her character and resilience. She approaches all challenges with an infectious optimism and an innate empathy that enriches both her classroom and team environments. Her involvement across the school and community is extensive, demonstrating exceptional time management skills. Ashley is an active member of the National Honor Society, the Panther Crew, the TRIO program, and she serves as a mentor to the Big Brother Big Sister program. Her dedication extends to the athletic field, where she contributes to softball, flag football, and basketball teams. Ashley has a clear and compassionate goal to work in the medical field one day. I'm confident that she possesses the intellectual capacity, work ethic, and emotional maturity to thrive in the fields of neuroscience and biochemistry. Now Ashley will read her essay.
I hope you're having a good night so far. As we grow, we have many moments where we learn from secondhand or personal experience. I can't fully speak on this topic as I'm still growing, but so far, I have gone through many phases, from being an awkward kid to who I am today. If freshman me were standing here, I would probably have been sweating and stuttering due to the lack of exposure. In middle school, trying something new seemed impossible. This created a barrier to my involvement in school activities, so during 8th grade graduation, I made myself a promise to break the cycle. Even if it sounds cliche, I truly believe that high school has helped me become who I am. When I was younger, I was taught to give to others. However, when I started high school, I felt like I was receiving more than giving. Once I came to the realization, I knew that I had the chance to make a difference when I came to Round Lake High School. I started to join programs in and outside of school. When I was a freshman, my science teacher recommended me to join the Medicina Academy Apprentice Academy program at UIC, in which I was able to learn about many careers within the medical field. And then during my sophomore year, I joined Future Medical Panthers, which opened the doors for my acceptance into Science Saturday at Rosalind Franklin University. As a senior, I was recommended by my counselor to become a BIG for the Big Brother and Big Sister organization, in which I am offering my experience as a mentor for students at Indian Hill Elementary School. All these new environments allowed me to experience an array of academic interests and form friendships, all because one member saw my commitment and my efforts. I have made the most of many opportunities and experiences, diverse environments. From trying 3 different sports to joining clubs, Round Lake High School has been a stepping stone to challenge myself, learn, and observe. You can often find me during summer break at school, either involved in summer camps, playing in summer leagues, or engaging in internships. Round Lake created an environment which pushed me to grow, and each moment has allowed me to flip the switch and give back to others. For example, my involvement in Panther Crew, peer tutoring, college ambassadors, counseling aid, and new student liaison have provided the chance to give back to my community and school. Especially in recent times, I have seen the efforts of staff members' investments in their students' growth. Having benefited from these resources, I want to be able to use my experience as an example for the next generations to come. I know I can inspire other students to understand that being involved in school, sports, or out-of-school activities isn't as scary as intimidating as it seems. I want to be able to create the interactions with upper-class students who have tried it all, with the new upcoming freshmen, to create a bond both in and or out of school. By being able to achieve these interactions, I can see Round Lake heading into a brighter future and creating a stronger sense of pride and community among students. In the new years, I will be heading off to college, which I hope that I left a lasting impact on Round Lake High School. One thing I know is that I will continue to help others once in my new phase in life. I will continue the message of Paul Shakespeare, who once said, "As one person, I cannot change the world, but I can change the world of one person."
All right, next up, I'm going to call to order the public hearing in regards to reduction in force at 7:14 PM. And turn it over to Dr. Mendoza.
So as we begin tonight's discussion, I want to acknowledge that a reduction in force is one of the most difficult decisions a school district can face. Our responsibility is to ensure that we remain fiscally responsible while continuing to meet all state and federal requirements for student learning, safety, and services. The RIF process we follow is guided by the Illinois School Code, our collective bargaining agreements, and board policy. Every year, we review enrollment trends, program needs, licensure requirements, and student services to ensure that any staffing adjustments are thoughtful, lawful, and aligned to the long-term sustainability of the school district. While these decisions are never easy, our commitment remains the same: to support our students while working with the Education Association of Round Lake to maintain transparency throughout the process. For the purpose of this item, I have some information I'd like to cover publicly. This information is in more detail in the packet. I'm certainly not going to read the entire FAQ, but I am going to cover some of the highlights. When a reduction in force needs to be implemented, the law requires the school board to determine that it must affect all of the affected teachers must be provided written notice on or before April 15th, along with the reason for the dismissal. Part of why we're doing this early is to ensure that our staff members who are affected have choice, significantly earlier than perhaps other school districts. For the positions listed on the list, the law requires teachers to be placed in one of four groupings based on their most recent performance evaluation ratings. The order of dismissal must follow group order: first group 1, then group 2, then 3, and finally 4, proceeding downward only as necessary to achieve the needed reduction. When teachers are recalled, and I do want to talk about recall, among eligible educators, group 4, then 3, then 2, the recall order must be an inverse order of dismissal, unless a collective bargaining agreement specifies others. I want to gently remind the board, I believe in 24-25, we hired 83 people. And for the last 10 years, we've hired between 60 and 75. So it would be our intent, to the fullest extent possible, is to bring people back in accordance with the list that I just read. I do also want to remind the board that inclusive of this school year, we have implemented a reduction in force in 7 out of the last 10 years. Specifically, there were RIFs in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2022, 2024, and 2025. I also want to reiterate that every year, in cooperation with the Education Association of Round Lake, we look at staffing levels, programmatic needs to make sure that we remain fiscally responsible. Additionally, specific programs are reviewed, as well as extracurriculars on an annual basis, regardless of whether or not a reduction in force is implemented. A couple of other things that are very, very important. A school district's enrollment directly impacts the financial situation of a school district. So when evidence-based funding is determined, and for us, 60% of our operating budget is evidence-based funding, student enrollment is one of the main factors that goes into determining what our state allocation is. So in summary, the more students a district gets, the more staff we should have, and the fewer students a district has, the fewer staff members they should have. Over the last 10 years, our enrollment has dropped by over 1,200 students, and for context's sake, that's essentially the size of both Round Lake Middle School and Murphy Elementary. We've lost that student population, essentially 2 schools of student population in the last 10 years. I would also say, if you remember, on September 8th, we presented the enrollment projection completed by the University of Wisconsin And while we can't predict exactly what will happen, we are tentatively scheduled to lose another 600 to 1,000 students in the next 5 years. That could mean that additional RIFs would be forthcoming in future years. But again, we're not going to predetermine that. That's done on an annual basis. We look at district financial health, enrollment, and staffing numbers. During that same period of time that we decreased by over 1,200 students, our staffing levels increased between 140 and 180 staff members. Generally speaking, the number of staff members should accord with the direction of your student population. Just additional reminders, 74% of our operating budget is salary and benefits. So the number of people we have significantly impacts the district's financial position. And I want to remind the board, 60% of our operating is evidence-based funding. When you look at our evidence-based funding over the last 10 years, at the same time our enrollments declined, our evidence-based revenue, new revenue, has gone from roughly $8.7 million down to $1.2 million during that same period. So essentially, we have declining enrollment and declining state funding. Now, the declining state funding, one of the reasons is positive, is the state's goal is to get us closer to adequate, the 90% adequacy level. And essentially what that means is if you hit 90%, the state feels like you're funded at a level that you should be, given all of these other factors. Demographic information, student population, class size, those types of things. I also want to reiterate, related, regardless of a reduction in force, we are obligated to meet students' individualized education plans as well as the multilingual needs in the school district. We're legally required and fully committed to meeting all of those needs. Any staffing adjustments made through a reduction in force must still comply with all state and federal law, including the IDEA, which is special ed law, Section 504, and the requirements for English learning services. Even if a RIF is approved, the district will continue to provide all services and supports outlined in a student's IEP or 504 plan. We will ensure multilingual learners receive appropriate instruction and language supports. Staff programs and qualified personnel will meet state licensure and endorsement requirements, and we will monitor class size, caseloads, and service minutes to remain in full legal compliance. In short, required services will not be reduced or eliminated, and the district will continue to provide high-quality, legally compliant programs for students with disabilities and multilingual learners, regardless of any staffing changes. The last high-level point I'd like to make relates to transportation. Transportation services will continue to meet all state requirements and provide safe, reliable bus service for students who qualify under the Illinois School Code. State law determines which students are eligible for transportation based on factors such as distance from school, hazardous routes, and special transportation needs identified in an IEP or 504. A reduction in force does not change these legal requirements or obligations, and we will remain in full compliance. At the same time, the district continuously reviews bus routes, ridership patterns, and operational practices to identify efficiencies that save taxpayer dollars while still ensuring safe and appropriate transportation. This may include adjusting routes, consolidating stops, or improving scheduling while not reducing legally required services. In summary, all students who qualify for transportation under Illinois law will continue to receive it, and safety will remain our highest priority. Any adjustments will focus on efficiency, not on reducing bus service. The entire FAQ in detail can be found in the board packet. It's publicly available, has a little bit more detail, but I wanted to provide context for the board and community as the board considers what's on the table this evening.
Any questions from the board?
All right, so if I were a pessimistic individual and didn't assume that there was positive intent. I would think that this is just a smokescreen. And how much of this, the RIF, is due to the budget, the misbudgeting from the last couple of years?
Yeah, so the first part of your question is this is a math problem. So we have X number of staff, our student enrollment's declining, and we have a revenue. So every year we look at our revenues and look at our expenditures, and we have to balance our budget. Now, I didn't see, I could go back in time. I think what the budget situation earlier in the year caused is a delay in this process. So, had we had accurate budget information, we would have made different spending decisions in 24, 25 and 25, 26, but it doesn't change the fact that our enrollment has been in a steady decline.
How does this align with what we had committed to the teachers in the district and the community when we were having the town halls, when we were doing that? How does this align?
I'm not sure I understand your question. It aligns with what we communicated.
Did we commit to not reducing any staff?
We committed to trying to bring people, saving positions through attrition, which is what this is. In order for us to save through attrition, we actually have to execute the RIF. There's a process we follow. People are on the list. I already know that the list is out there, and there will be probably in the next 2 weeks, we're already starting to see recalls being needed. Now, in the end, we're not going to know officially what it looks like probably until March and April because it's December. So what happens normally when a process like this occurs, people get placed in positions and then make employment decisions that are best for them. Some of our staff will stay in positions that they were assigned to. Some will decide to leave. Again, when I say we've hired 60 to 75 the last 10 years, that doesn't mean we added 60 or 75 positions a year. That's staff turnover. So if you look at the number of people on the list, it aligns with roughly the number of people that have turned over. But the other thing that has to happen is when we recall, the people have to be qualified and have proper endorsements in the positions that end up opening.
Will at any point we know approximately how many were brought back?
Oh, yes. I mean, we'll know each month, probably. You'll see it through the employment report, but we can do public updates to the board. I mean, that's something that's very easy. We would get we would have human resource presented. I would say you're really not going to know the final number probably till June or July because the turnover, it's going to be happening every week between now and the end of the school year, even into the summer.
Can you speak to how you decide what teachers are going to be RIFed? Like how the process for that?
Mr. Schuth, can you come up to the mic and be more specific? But essentially, the two big things we have to comply with are state law with groupings and the collective bargaining agreement. So there's 4 groups. You have 4, 3, 2, 1, and the people in group 4 are called back first. But I'm going to defer to Dr. Schuth.
In light of the groupings that he's talking about, those are based on the number of evaluations that each individual teacher has. And in group 4, you have 2 out of the last 3 being excellent, and maybe the third one proficient or the third one excellent. That's a group 4. Group 3 is categorized by largely proficient. 2 out of the 3 are proficient. Maybe one's excellent, maybe not. Maybe it's just proficient. 2 being needs improvement, and then it goes down from there. Group 1 is the only one that is not based on evaluations. That's based on the fact that they don't have evaluations at this point. They haven't been evaluated. So that's how they are aligned to that group. The first order of business is to determine what positions in the district, and not people, positions, needed to be reduced. then there are people in those positions that we have to identify. Some are singletons, like potentially a specialist that's the only one in that category, then that would be that person. If it's multiple people, then it's based on their grouping and their seniority. That determines that. From there, once we align them, we then order it in terms of that 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we start doing the inverse. If it's group 4, we start at the bottom with group 1 and we start working our way up until everything matches up. But it has to be not just grouping, not just seniority, but also certification in that particular area. So all of those things have to align. Okay, does that answer it?
I do have a question, and we kind of hit on it with Mr. Jewett. And I appreciate that you acknowledge that we've done this RIF process before. I think this one is a little different because of the budget situation. So it would be nice if the board could get a report of where we land based off what was communicated to community and the union. So we know, I know it's a cycle of people who are putting in resignations for whatever reason and then pulling from that list of these individuals on this RIF list. So it would be nice to know where we actually land with this one.
We'll actually give you like a midpoint and an end. We'll do multiple updates for you.
Can I ask, I don't know if you have this, you might not off the top of your head, but in the past years that we've riffed, what we've shaken out with, what it ended up being the total number that actually ended up leaving? I don't know if you can get that or put that in.
Well, I can tell you, and again, I don't have it in front of me, but we have hired between 40 and 83 people for a decade. And the RIFs have been, I think the 3 other ones we had that were the next largest, I think were 2019. I think there's a 3-year stretch where the numbers were a little higher. They certainly weren't this. But even in that case, if the people on the RIF list aren't certified in what we have open, then they're not eligible for a job. But given the scope of the turnover, it is likely that many of them were qualified. It's just maybe they chose to work in a school district, a different district, or didn't want to wait, because that's kind of a choice somebody's going to have to make. One of the things that's different now, I'm sorry, Mr. Francisco, is this didn't exist probably 3 or 4 years ago. The law existed, but it was never employed, is because of we're all competing for the same candidates. We can actually hold a certificate if somebody decides to work here, but then wants to get out 30 days before the school year starts. I think, maybe there's some flexibility with that, but I think all of the districts in the county are doing that because if you lose a special ed teacher in July and August, it's hard to replace them. So.
And to that point, can you touch on the fact that by doing this in December, it's giving those that are unfortunately on the list that flexibility and that ability to look elsewhere while waiting?
I mean, you just said it basically. We could have waited till February, March, somewhere in there. But that's not fair to our employees. I think given the scope of what happened, we wanted to do it as early as possible so that people could make their own choice earlier. Generally speaking, I would say some of the harder to fill positions are starting to get posted now. So I do expect some of these people will, they might pursue a different job or something.
So in layman's terms, if I have this correctly, it'd be like if we had too many English teachers, we would riff some and then bring them back potentially to perhaps teach math if they were certified in it.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Or another English position. If an English position opens and they have recall rights and they're certified, so.
If I can also add to the timing of what Dr. Mendoza was saying, the legal team would also recommend that we don't go this early, that we should apply ourselves to the March-April timeframe, which is legally prescribed. However, we made a very conscious choice to do it this time, given the scope of it, but that doesn't mean that would happen in future years. We would have to base that on what the need of the district is, but largely speaking, most districts do not RIF until that March time, and mostly because, for the sake of those who are in Group 1, they would have an evaluation by the end of February, beginning of March. That's why that's prescribed in March, so that it's done in April, because then we would have captured at least that first year teacher's evaluation. So I wouldn't say that this is going to become a norm, but given the scope of what this was, this is what we agreed to with our union.
Yeah, and just again, gentle reminder, the student population has dropped at a level equivalent to the entire student population of Round Lake Middle School and Murphy combined. So we've lost essentially 2 schools of students in the last 10 years.
All right, hearing no additional questions from the board, we will open to public comment on the proposed reductions in force of teachers, subject to Board Policy 2:230. Public participation at Board of Education meetings and petitions to the board. Those who are speaking to the public comment at this time, please let's make sure we keep it limited to the reduction in force conversation, and each individual will have a 3-minute time limit as normal.
Juan Ruiz.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Juan Ruiz, or known as Beto Ruiz in the community. I'm not here tonight, which I do want to say thank you to the board members for asking questions. We appreciate that as a community. It felt good actually coming back to a board meeting and not having a police officer out there. Thank you for that. And I'm here tonight not to yell or to divide or contribute to the noise that has already been caused so much pain in the District 116 community. I'm here because someone has to speak with honesty, with clarity, and with the heart that truly cares for our district. I'm here with transparency, and transparency is something that our administration has forgotten, and we cannot afford to ignore that any longer. For the very beginning, this 11 million miscalculation was unacceptable and is still unacceptable. And while things might feel comfortable and controlled under the administrative offices, that is not the reality for the staff who were guided into a choice that was never a choice at all. They sacrificed their pay, their livelihoods, because they believe it would save their jobs of their coworkers. That is the level of dedication our staff has. And yet, here we are, watching essential employees, people who support classrooms, support students, and support the heart of this district being told their jobs are no longer existing. People who were promised their jobs were safe, people who gave up something to protect others. It's devastating, it's heartbreaking, and it's wrong. A few months ago, community leaders stood up proudly and defended the district decision to reduce pay increases to save jobs. Today, the same leaders applaud the district for fixing a crisis that the district created in the first place by eliminating the very jobs they said they were saving. To the Round Lake teachers, please hear this. You are not alone. Even though your district leaders have failed you at this moment, your community has not. We see you. We feel you. We feel your frustration and we feel your fear. We feel your exhaustion from having to stay silent year after year because speaking up hasn't always felt safe. But now is the time. Now is the moment to lift your voices, not in anger, but in truth. Not in division, but in unity. To the community leaders, please stay informed. If you have never been a student of 116, if you have never been a parent navigating through this system, take the time to understand the experience of those who have. Listen to the families. Listen to the teachers. Listen to the staff. What is happening in Round Lake 116 is alarming. It is real, and it's impacting our students. The impact on our children, it's visible, and it will continue to grow if we remain silent. This is not about politics. This is not about taking sides. This is not about people. It's about trust. It's about our
Go ahead
kids.
and wrap up because you are in excess of 3 minutes.
We deserve leaders who tell the truth. Our staff deserve respect, and our students deserve better. And it is up to all of us right here, right now, to demand the transparency and accountability that this district has failed to provide. You guys don't have an interpreter. Would you like me to read it in Spanish?
No, your time is up. Thank you very much.
Lourdes Ruiz. Hi, I'm Lourdes Ruiz. So I wasn't going to speak today. However, seeing that several people that I actually worked with closely last year are now on the honorably being dismissed list, and also reading that the district needs to adjust staffing levels to remain financially responsible and to ensure that taxpayers aren't funding more positions than needed, I did feel it was necessary to raise a concern regarding consistency in administrative decision-making, specifically regarding licensure and endorsement/certification. So I guess I'm trying to understand how certain administrative positions are justified, especially high-level roles like the deputy superintendent's, Miss Heather Bennett's, considering the level of responsibility and the salary attached to that position. It seems fair for staff and taxpayers to know what qualifications or criteria are required for that job, especially when it's licensed educators, actual licensed educators that are the ones being let go. Additionally, it also seems it would be valuable for the district to gather taxpayer and community input. If taxpayers were given the choice between keeping several fully licensed educators who have gone through the training or maintaining administrative positions that don't require or do not have even the licensure to be teaching assistants in the state of Illinois, I am curious what they would choose. I'm not trying to single anyone out. I just want more transparency and consistency, especially when those decisions are directly impacting the educators and the students. Lastly, I want to thank the educators and the employees that have supported this community, our students and our families. We do value your work, your time, and your effort, even if it feels unfair and unjust more often than not. I hope that wherever you end up, you find a space that cares for you just as much as you have cared for and continue to care for our youth. Round Lake will also miss you deeply. Secondly, I had a public comment for someone who is actually online. However, they wanted it to be read out loud, and because online public comments are not, she asked me to read it for her. As a parent of students and as a prior student of Round Lake, I have to say it's very disappointing that we keep letting our students down. With the holidays approaching and just how overall the economy is, it will be very sad and unfortunate to see staff members lose their jobs. Ultimately, the students and staff are paying the price for what are supposed to be responsible adults. You guys probably don't care, as was previously mentioned, your kids do not go to this school district. But hopefully you can also see how you're letting so many people down.
Thank you.
We have 20 kids in the district between us. That either have been in the district or in, just so you know.
India Eder.
Good evening. My name's Andrea Eider. I'm a community member and a teacher here. I am committed to the success of Round Lake students. I stood here at the beginning of the year and asked you to do better. I told you I was a proponent of option 3 because I thought it was best for students, and I expressed concern about teacher retention. I stand here today with those same concerns. Our 5 Essentials survey score is already weak, and you are about to approve over 65 RIFs and 45 involuntary transfers. That's over 10% of our district staff. In August, you said, quote, to realistically expect around 20 reductions, not 65. We feel deceived. This violation of trust makes it hard for teachers and families to feel confident in district decisions that affect our students. I can't stand up here and say that option 3 was best for students when losing teachers. Oh, I lost it. When losing teachers increases class sizes and decreases access to support. Our students are losing programming. This wasn't supposed to happen with option 3. Losing our MTSS specialist negatively impacts students' academic growth. Losing our behavioral interventionist means more disruptive learning environments. Losing many dual certified staff threatens that programming and our district equity vision. And this is just to name a few. Teachers are overloaded and unsupported. Teachers are losing their colleagues and students are losing trusted adults. Teachers are being pushed into roles that they didn't sign up for. This will lead to burnout and directly harms students' access to quality instruction and social emotional support. When I requested one PD day to present at a conference, it was hesitantly granted. And I was told it would lower my evaluation because per district policy, I was missing a district PD day. Even though presenting at outside PLCs is an excellent rating on the Danielson framework. This is just one example of the lack of support and how it restricts our abilities to help students. So again, what are you doing about teacher retention? Why should teachers stay or say yes to a recall? Yes, you promised to make us whole, but that's not enough. You called this one person's mistake, but this was your first opportunity to start to correct the mistake and hold to your promises, and you have failed. This failure impacts staff, families, and students. Rebuilding trust requires action, not words. We received an email from Dr. Mendoza last week that ended with, quote, our strength as a district has always come from our unity, respect, and shared commitment to our students and each other. I am 100% committed to our students, and I want to be part of the solution. But right now, I do not feel unified, and I do not feel respected. I'm asking you to please do better, like I said last time, and work to rebuild trust by protecting our programs and our teachers so we can support our students. Thank you.
Thank you. And that is the end of public comment for this section, and we will adjourn the public hearing and continue with the regular board meeting. And next up is communications to the board. And first up on that is the Lake County Health Department School-Based Health Center update. Dr. Epcar.
Good evening. Thank you to Dr. Mendoza and the Board of Education for allowing us to come this evening to share a school-based health center update. So as a district, we continue to enjoy a very positive partnership with the Lake County Health Department and Ms. Allie Garner. So at this time, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Ms. Garner so she can introduce her team.
Hi, I'm Allie Garner, and I'm the practice manager, and I oversee the operations at School Base. And I have Summer, who is our nurse manager, and then I have Dolly. She's our office manager. She oversees the office, like billing and insurance, our clerk. We also have the director of operations for Lake County Health Department. She's in the audience. Her name is Kim, and she oversees us. Sorry. Okay, so on this slide, we just kind of shared our location. We are connected to the high school, and students can come over during class periods, they do get passes if they have a consent form at the beginning of the year. We offer medical services 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, with one late night being Wednesday. We also offer behavioral health services with our therapist on site 4 days a week. He is there on Wednesday, the late night as well. And we do like direct referrals from our school counselors, the nurses, family members. And then we also do family planning services on Tuesdays, and that is the reason why the behavioral health counselor isn't there on Tuesdays, only because it's a small office space. And then this is our direct team. France, she's our advanced practice nurse there. She's there full time. And then we have Elia, our registered medical assistant. She's there full time. So all these staff members are there consistently full time. And then we have Martha, our clerk, Paul, the therapist, and Anna, she's our family planning counselor. And then you guys already met us. The only one that's not here is Carly. She's our health center medical director, and she's a family practice nurse practitioner, and she also practices over at Mid Lakes, which is right down the road. And this is a list of services that we provide. There's a lot that we do there in a small area, and we do see a lot of students. So on the next couple slides, we'll go over our numbers. So the numbers have increased year by year. We do coordinate and we do like collaborate with Dr. Eric Apgar and Jessica Lanners, the district nurse, very closely. We do meet on a biannual basis to see if there's anything that we could improve on and if the students are having any difficulties getting appointments. We do direct referrals, so if we're having some trouble getting connected to like our scheduling, we help with that. So we've seen a significant increase in our numbers, which are almost doubled in the last 2 years.
Isn't it really quick? I just want to interrupt. For that to be self-sustaining, we need to be about what, 3,000 somewhere in there, and we're at what, 60 over 6,000? Okay.
Yeah, we do a lot of public outreach, and then we do family planning. Those numbers are typically low, but that's kind of typical of just like the demographics and religion and preferences. Students can be seen without parental consent, so we are funded by a family planning grant, and we do have something called a Title 10 where we don't have to disclose information. I'm sorry. And then this is our behavioral health services. You can see there was a significant increase from 24 to 25 because we did have a therapist. Almost 700 plus encounters this year. And we truly do appreciate that. Our provider also does a depression screening at every encounter and does a direct referral as well if they need them. Okay, thank you guys. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I'm going to start with a couple. Thank you for the services. How can we, as a district, as a board, help you engage more? Because I know that one of the biggest things is having access to medical services is a challenge. Even when you have private insurance, it's a challenge even getting into your regular primary care physician. So can you talk to me about your coordination with private insurance and also the ability for us to be able to help drive that for you?
A lot of the students that we do see, most of them have like Medicaid or managed care Medicaid plans. We have very little bit commercial insurance, but when we do have one, we don't turn anyone away. We don't have contracts with a lot of these private. Again, we don't have contracts with them, but we can bill as a courtesy. We still try to do our best with billing. And if for whatever reason there's a deductible or there's like visits that are not paid, then we are still able to offer clients and families a sliding scale based on like a federal guide that we have that we use. As far as like access, I mean, there's a lot of need in the community where we have between Mid Lakes and School Based Health Center, we do our best to try to fit in clients. We have systems where we work directly with nursing staff. We message all the schools when we have openings on a daily basis. We try to work with schedules, ensure that we kind of coordinate students coming down to our office, like getting passes, getting them quickly back to class. I think like it's just very convenient for families. Like nowadays, a lot of like parents are working, and like the nice thing about having like the school here or the clinic here at the school is that like students can like don't have to have the parent with them. Like if they have an earache, they can come right over. We could try to our best to fit them in and get them back to class as like quickly as possible. Parents are signing consents like prior to that, so we're able to do that. So that's also something we're doing.
Thank you.
I mean, it's almost a 50% growth. And when are you topped out?
We do have like openings in the next couple of weeks, and again with both Mid Lakes Clinic. I mean, we had issue with like shortage of providers, like many other places and states are having now. But luckily, we do have like a pediatrician. We do have new providers coming into Mid Lakes, and also our nurse practitioner has consistently been there. So I mean, luckily for now, we don't have issues with access for minors, and we're hoping to try to keep it that way.
And I mean, this is just organic, that it just grew because of the phenomenal care, of course. And they just knew.
In the last couple of years, we've connected more with like Jessica and Dr. Eric Apgar and getting the messages out there either through your guys' like newsletter, email threads, just coming to your guys' registration events, becoming like more present. Also, we've added like a Luma, which is our reminder system that sends text messages.
As a person that works in a different district that struggles to get mental health support in their district, thank you so much for what you do and seeing the numbers doubling. Yeah, thank you just for what you're doing.
I also want to thank you because we've had our kids use you guys for like vaccinations before. We couldn't get in, and the kids they just love you guys. It's always a really good experience. So thank you, just personally.
Mr. Francisco, to answer your question a little further, the Lake County Health Department has been very responsive in meeting the needs of even special populations that we serve within the district. If you can remember, 2 years ago, we developed a process to welcome newcomer families into the district. And at that time, the Lake County Health Department did not hesitate to ensure that our newcomer families receive services at the school-based health center. So whenever a need has arisen, the Lake County Health Department has always stepped in to assist the district.
So I do have a couple questions. First, a clarifying question on your slide 6 where it says fiscal year 25. Is that our fiscal year, your fiscal year? It doesn't give me the time frame, so I'm not sure.
That's our fiscal year.
So what would that run?
Runs through November 30th. New fiscal year just started in December 1st.
It'd be good to have that clarified because I wasn't sure what fiscal year that was, so that's why I asked. The other thing in regards to, so then fiscal year 25 or overall total visits of 6,359, it'd be great to also have a breakdown of those visits because you note that you dispense medications. What percentage of those visits did you dispense medications?
We can get the data to you.
Okay. Also, of those visits, what percentages were sports, physicals, and immunizations?
We could also get that data to you.
So it'd really be good to have a really better picture and window into the services our students are getting because it will help us to help you so that our students are serviced. If we're seeing maybe a huge demand in certain months, obviously, for students with school physicals or immunizations, I think that's a window that we need to see. But right now, the data that I see is great, but it doesn't really tell me enough. Now, I do work in the insurance industry, so, I'm craving more data here. I need to know more.
Yeah.
Could this come back with
Yeah, we can do it.
the information? I mean, this is a good start, but I don't feel we really have a lot of information here.
Yeah, we definitely already have that information. So if we're invited again, we can bring that with us.
You're invited. We would just
Thank
need to
you.
know when.
And I also want to add a lot of like what you were asking with the increase of numbers. We did open school-based health center to all kids in Lake County. So that is a change that was made. That could have been also like the reason why we see improvement there.
I will ensure that information comes back to the board.
Okay, so let me just add a few more things, because again, the more information, I think the better. Again, we want to know how our students are being serviced and what they're being serviced with. So again, you said most of the students that come with Medicaid, Medicare's, did I hear that correctly?
Yes, the majority of our students, they have Medicaid or managed care Medicaid plans.
So again, it would be nice to know that data as well.
Yes, we can bring those numbers too.
Okay, all right. So it'd be great if we could have this either before spring break or after spring break. Dr. Apgar.
Or January. January is
If
a
you
good
can
one,
do
too.
January, that's even better, but. Yeah.
We can bring that to you in the second meeting in January.
All right, I look forward to it then. Thank you.
One last comment. We are Joint Commission certified, and also we are an FQHC, which is federally funded qualified health center. So because we are part of the county health department.
So I'll ask another question, and you may or may not know, is this health-based center 340B certified? And I know that's a very specific
Yes,
jargon.
we are.
You are, okay. Again, that's the world I live in, so I just wanted to ask.
I was gonna say, Mr. Graham, again, 340B, what exactly does
So
that stand for?
340B is a program. No, I said it. 340B is specific to help those underinsured or uninsured, which again, can be a lot of our population, which is why I'm asking for more data here.
Hearing, yeah, I couldn't resist that one. I'm sorry.
I said it was a very specific question. I knew nobody would know that.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for the partnership. We appreciate it.
We thank you very much
you
for the
guys so
partnership, and we look forward to hearing back from you in January. Thank you. All right, next up is the FOIA report. Any questions from the board in regards to the FOIA report as listed? Hearing none there, we'll move on to contracts under 1,000. There was nothing to report on that one. So we will then transition straight back into public comment, and this is where members of the public may always participate in public comment during regular board meetings by attending in person or submitting electronic public comment form. Please note the speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Electronic public comments will be accepted up until noon on the day of the regularly scheduled meeting, and the public commenter will be contacted to confirm identity. Once confirmed, the electronic public comment will be provided to all board members in written form, and a link to electronic public comment form is online. We did not have any verified electronic public comment for this meeting. Do we have any local public comment? Hearing no local public comment, we will then move on to the superintendent's report and Dr. Mendoza.
We have finalized our agreement with Empower Youth to continue supporting our embedded Empower Youth coach who works closely with our future ready students. Our coach meets with students daily to build essential employability skills and provides wraparound services that extend beyond what the district can offer on its own. Our informal partnership last year proved extremely successful. Student interest grew significantly, the range of supports expanded, and 100% of last year's cohort maintained employment in their chosen career pathway. To strengthen this work, we formalized the partnership for the current school year and are providing the coach with limited access to district systems, including Canvas, so she can view students' work in the Future Ready cohort and more effectively support their progress. I'd like to formally thank the Round Lake Area School District 116 Education Foundation for their continued support of our staff and students. Last month, the foundation approved the following classroom grants. Kathleen O'Connor at Village, Cardboard Creations, Building Architecture and Sculpture in the Art Studio, $815 grant. Stephanie Simpson at Murphy, Glowing Oxycan-inspired spirit animal sculptures, $372. Katie Carden at Ellis, iReady for family game time, $1,038. Katrina Cook and Julie McCann at Ellis, entrepreneurship, preservation and maintenance, taking care of business, $60. Kevin Consular, Beach, Ellis, Indian Hill, Murphy, and Village, iPad portable projector stands, making learning visible, enhancing instruction with iPad projection, $1,692. Additionally, I would like to thank the Round Lake Area School District Education Foundation for their work in coordinating another successful Santa's workshop for approximately 180 students in grades K-5 yesterday, December 7th. This party, which was once hosted by the Fox Lake Round Lake Rotary Club at Camp Duncan, was brought to the foundation last year. Participants were provided with lunch, entertainment, and a bag of essentials and gifts. I would also like to thank staff, students, and administration who helped to coordinate this special event. From bus drivers, staff in the building, selecting the students most in need, to Organic Life, on-site volunteers, and more, this event would not be possible without your support. Below, listed in the formal packet, I'm going to avoid reading all these this evening. There's roughly 20 separate and distinct donations, and consistent with the board's request, we have listed all of these donations for your convenience. That concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Mendoza. Any questions for Dr. Mendoza? Hearing none, we will now move to committee reports and our Community Engagement Committee update.
Hello, good evening. Tonight we had a little bit of a light agenda. One of the major components we discussed was the IC parent absence request follow-up. So this is going to be, I think, great for the community. It's the Community Engagement Committee is recommending that we change a parent-initiated student attendance reporting system. And so basically it's an online system where you can go in and log when your child is going to be out. So if they're ill, or if they're going to be late, or if they're going to be leaving early, you can put it in. We basically had a couple of comments and feedbacks regarding the SOPs for those standard operating procedures, so as not to do any acronyms. And overall, though, I'm delighted. We're going to be rolling it out in the beginning of January of 2026, the beginning of next year. And I think it'll be a really nice addition to help our community members let the people know that their children are going to not be in, or maybe there will be an absence, but do it in a way that's seamless and quick. So that is the major thing that we discussed. We went over the communication snapshot as well, and just some updates on that. But overall, it was just a pretty quick, kind of simple meeting. Anything you want to add? Anything you want to add? Okay, and that's essentially all we have to report. You'll see more on that, like I said, in January, but overall, I think it will reduce the manual phone calls. It will reduce possibility of kids getting, missed. And then there is some standard operating procedures around if the child is not called in by a certain time, when and who owns that, following up on that. So more to come.
Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, very much appreciated again. And we will now move to approval of open meeting minutes.
I need a motion to approve the November 13th, 2025 special board meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jewett, second by Mrs. Klingler. Roll call, please.
Miss Lee?
Yes.
Mrs. Negrete McGinley?
Yes.
Mr. Francisco?
Yes.
Mr. Jewett?
Yeah.
Mrs. Klingler?
Yes.
Mrs. Larson?
Abstain.
Mr. De Vera?
Yes. Motion carries.
Need a motion to approve the November 17th, 2025 public hearing 2025 tax levy.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Klingler, seconded by Mr. Jewett. Roll call, please.
Mr. De Vera?
Yes.
Mrs. Negrete McGinley?
Yes.
Mr. Jewett?
Yeah.
Mrs. Larson?
Yes.
Mr. Francisco?
Yes.
Miss Lee?
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
I need a motion to approve the November 17th, 2025 regular board meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jewett, seconded by Mrs. Klingler. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Yeah.
Miss Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler,
Yes.
Mr. De Vera,
Yes.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes.
Motion carries.
I need a motion to approve the consent agenda for the following items. The accounts payable report for $2,422,914.53. The December 8th, 2025 employment report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jewett, seconded by Mrs. Klingler. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Mr. De Vera,
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler,
Yes.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Miss Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Yeah.
Motion carries. That will bring us to old business. And first up on that is the 2026-2027 school calendar. Mrs. Bennett.
So this one was presented at the last board meeting. There's no changes from what was presented at that time. Any questions?
Hearing no questions.
I need a motion to approve the 2026-2027 school calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Klingler, seconded by Mr. Jewett. Hearing no additional conversation, roll
Wait,
call,
can I,
please.
I'm sorry, can I add something?
Oh, please.
My apologies. I just wanted, when will this be posted for families?
I'd like to get it out this week still.
This week? So will an email be sent or it's just gonna be published?
We we'll send the email definitely. We'll put it into the next newsletter, put it out on social media.
Okay, thank you.
Good question.
Sorry.
Hearing no additional conversation,
Yes.
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 Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Yeah.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. De Vera,
Yes.
Motion carries. And that will bring us to the RLHS overnight trip. And I'm guessing Mrs. Bennett again.
So Mr. Peterson's out of town, so I'm covering this agenda item for this evening. He reviewed this at last meeting, and I believe there were a couple follow-up items that he shared with me. There was a question as to whether we would cap the number of attendees that we would have, and the answer is yes. We will be capping at 200. And then there was a question regarding the vetting of chaperones by other school districts, and if we would be able to find out what those school districts do to ensure that they are vetted. And when Mr. Peterson contacted our representative at Six Flags, it's not their practice to share what other school districts are participating in that same event. Even if they were, I'm not quite sure we would be able to confirm actual processes, but it is our assumption that other school districts are following policy and making sure that their chaperones are vetted similar to how we do it here in Round Lake High School. Any follow-up questions regarding those items?
Yeah, because that's why I asked the question about it being capped, because the interest exceeds now the 200. So then how are they gonna select the students? Does it
I
not
could be
exceed?
wrong, but I thought the interest was lower than 200.
Was it? I have to go back and look. Okay. Because I know when Mr. Peterson presented, he said there was no cap, or there would probably not be a cap.
Yeah, that was something that they hadn't explored at that point in time. If you just give me one
Because I just want to
moment.
make sure if it's capped at 200, and if every senior went, what is that number? I guess let's just start there.
Somewhere around 500.
More than 5. I think senior class is bigger than 500.
Okay.
$136 seniors responded to the survey, and the results were listed as 87% responded that they would be interested in attending, 11% responded that they may be interested, and 2% said that they would not be.
But that's just a survey, but what is
Yeah,
what is our actual senior class? Because not everybody's gonna respond to the survey, but now if this becomes something that's being offered to the senior students, and
Right,
all.
because the 200 cap is less than half of the actual senior graduate.
I think we need to go back and get some more information.
So what would the board be comfortable with approving this agreement and coming back with options for how we may either one, increase the cap, or two, determine the process for which students would be identified to attend?
Are we at risk of losing the venue if we don't approve it at this meeting? Do you know?
I don't know that answer, I'm sorry. But we have a meeting next week, so it can't be too terrible. So if we want to hold this item, we'll bring it back on the 15th for action.
I mean, that's why I asked the question, because it was posed when he presented that, there's no cap, all our seniors could go. Obviously, that's not true. We can't even send half our students.
Yeah, I'm very hesitant when you're looking at less than half of the student body, of the graduating class, being able to have the option.
And I think the other venues, it was more than half of the senior class attended. I'm almost positive.
One of the questions I have, and it'd be a pretty simple call back over to Six Flags, given, hopefully everyone would have their own supervisors. What is Six Flags security like on those nights? Because they're not fully open yet. So things happen. They're kids. I live in Lake County here. We know what happens. We all hear about Six Flags and problems with teenagers and stuff. So I just want to make sure our kids are safe. I don't know what other schools are going. I don't have a problem.
Well, that's kind of why that question was asked about vetting of chaperones and who's all there. Because as you mentioned, we do all read what happens in the paper.
Any other questions? And we'll be sure to put that back into next week's packet to respond.
And only comment is this is great. 98% of the students said they would probably go.
98% of 20%. But yes, exactly, which is why the cap is concerning.
It's a good sample.
Yep. Yeah, 20% are the only ones that would answer a survey. 80% said they won't answer a survey, but out of that.
All right, I think we're going to bring this back and we'll get more info and we'll be able to readdress it at the next meeting then. Which will then take us to new business, and first up on that is the financial assurance review.
So this is in light of those previous meetings in regards to budgeting and how the finance office works. Again, the commitment was made to the union that we would bring in an outside third party to review practices and procedures in the finance department. Interviewed several organizations in regards to what they would come in to review, what maybe based on conversations, what is needed from the board. So what's coming forward tonight is agreement with Baker Tilly. This has all been also reviewed by the board attorney. Mr. DeVera and I have looked at this as well. So this is the agreement to bring in that third party to review the finance department, look at some policies and procedure changes that maybe should happen, and maybe add some that we don't have currently.
And the attorney, the reason the memo is written this way is the attorneys are going back and forth with legalese language, and we wanted to get the agreement solidified. We'll let the attorneys figure it out. So I think you've seen recommendations like this before, hopefully.
Any questions?
I'm really very happy we're doing this.
Great.
Yep, hearing no additional questions.
All right, the Board of Education Finance Chair, Mrs. Annette Negretti McGinley, respectfully requests that the Board of Education authorize the administration to execute all documentation associated with financial assurance review services provided by Baker Tilly in the amount that shall not exceed $30,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Francisco, seconded by Mrs. Klingler. Hearing no additional conversation, roll call please.
Mr. Jewett,
Yeah.
Miss Lee,
Yes.
Mr. DeVere,
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Motion carries. And that brings us to Solution Tree, Ms. Dave.
Good evening, everyone. So, as you know, we have embarked on a professional learning community, PLC, reset at our secondary schools, and this is year 2 of that. Solution Tree, basically the leading expert in professional learning communities, has been our training partner for this entire journey. So what we're requesting to do is bring them back on site for another 3 days, one at each of the secondary schools, so that they can provide professional development to our department chairs and our administrators, and do some on-site work watching our professional learning communities and our instruction. So this is being funded out of Title II, hence why it's coming in on a different contract from the teacher vacancy grant.
And these contracts were reviewed last month by finance. There was just some language with payment, but that has been addressed.
Hearing no additional conversation.
I need a motion to approve the purchase with Solution Tree in the amount of $21,300, budgeted out of Title II grant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Klingler, seconded by Mr. Jewett. Roll call please.
Mr. DeVere,
Yes.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Yeah.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Miss Lee,
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler,
Yes.
Motion carries. And that will bring us to Dr. Right, I was gonna say, and that would bring us to Dr. Schuth and the honorable dismissal notifications.
Yeah, I'm leaving it to,
I didn't know if you were going to speak prior.
no, I'm just here in case you had questions.
All right. I need the motion to approve the honorable dismissal of the following teachers for the 2026-2027 school year. Martin Baker, Brianna Banks, Aju Brooks, Sarah Bushik, Catherine Caulfield, Carrie Cohen, Paula Davila Lopez, Sabina Del Rey Gazul, Jessica Echeverria, Esther Escobedo, Vanessa Freshkas, April Garcia, Ines Garcia, Rebecca Geyer, Reed Hapke, Amy Hartman, Nicholas Heidman Carpenter, Hadley Hinshaw, Susan Hudson, Sierra Jackson, Caitlin Larson, Kelly Gliznick, Christina Lisnu, Kathleen Manley, Lena Marchland, Zulima Martinez, Sophia Meluso, Christy Ortega, Amanda Paboon, Allison Pawlowski, Ariana Pestino Holt, Matthew Petiti, Verita Romero, Hilda Ruiz Espinoza, Julia Rocky, Karina Sanchez Ortiz, Megan Shack, Dawn Schuart, Sarah Cerufi, Taylor Stark, Anuli Teniro, Montserrat Teniro, Michael Uhl, Guadalupe Vasquez Zepeda, Krista Ventron, Chapman Warren, Stephanie Springer, Amy Raymont, Nicholas Koleski, Amber Mizlek, Michael Finberg, Benjamin Quint, Sophia Rainey, Andrew Parker, Alejandro Gonzalez.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Klingler, seconded by Mr. Jewett. Hearing no additional conversation, roll call, please.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler,
Yes.
Mr. DeVere,
Yes.
Miss Lee,
Yes.
Mrs. Negrete McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Yes.
Motion carries.
I need a motion to approve the honorable dismissal of third-year probationary teachers for the 2026-2027 school year. Sebastian Gonzalez, Ui Seyu Uni, Laura Martinez Mendelete, Evelyn Torres Garcia.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. DeVera, seconded by Mr. Jewett. Hearing no additional conversation, roll call, please.
Miss Lee,
Yes.
Mrs. Negrete McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Mr. DeVere,
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler,
Yes.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Yes.
Motion carries.
I need a motion to approve the honorable dismissal of educational support personnel employees for the 2026-2027 school year. Estefania Cervetes Valdivez, Garrett Parsons, Amos Chan, Victor Delgado, Martha Espinoza, Maribel Jimenez, Eric Otero Salino, Jordan Raves, Felicia Salazar.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. DeVera, seconded by Mr. Jewett. Hearing no additional conversation, roll call, please.
Mrs. Klingler,
Yes.
Miss Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Yes.
Mrs. Negrete McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. DeVere,
Yes.
Motion carries.
I need a motion to approve the non-renewal of stipend positions for the 2026-2027 school year. Or Abundis, Ryan Brown, Brittany Church, Michael Feinberg, Jesse Mizreguez, Kyle Monstero, Victoria Raditz, Chad Salmon, Georgina Taylor, Guadalupe Villa Manzaro, Lisa Wenkes, and Susan Wolf.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jewett, seconded by Mr. DeVera. Hearing no additional conversation, roll call please.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. De Vera,
Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Yes.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Miss Lee,
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler,
Yes.
Motion carries. And that will take us to positive occurrences. I'll just throw out there, Winter Spectacular was amazing as always, especially being the 10th. I guess it's the 10th year. With the COVID year, it's weird, but it just absolutely was an amazing show. So definitely glad. Hearing nothing else there, we'll move to future agenda items.
We're going to be bringing back the health update. So I wrote that down, and then an update on staffing throughout the year. We'll make sure we bring those back.
Thank you very much there. And then that will transition us to approval of closed session minutes reviewed at prior meetings.
Need a motion to approve the closed session meeting minutes of November 3rd, 2025, regular board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Larson, seconded by Mrs. Klingler. Roll call, please.
Mr. De Vera,
Yes.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Yes.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Miss Lee,
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler,
Yes.
Motion carries.
I need a motion to approve the closed session meeting minutes of November 11th, 2025, special meeting expulsion hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. De Vera, seconded by Ms. Larson. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Klingler,
Yes.
Miss Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Abstain.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. De Vera,
Yes.
Motion carries. And that will take us to, I need a motion to convene in closed session as permitted by statute 5 ILCS 120/2 for the purpose of discussing the following. Closed meeting minutes 5 ILCS 120/2C21, real estate matters 5 ILCS 120/2C5, and employment matters 5 ILCS 120/2C1.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jewett, seconded by Mrs. Klingler. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes.
Miss Lee,
Yes.
Mr. De Vera,
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler,
Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes. And that will take us to closed session. For those online, we will have action after resulting from closed session. So there will be action afterwards. So hang tight online. For those here, thank you for attending. Our next meeting will be next week, December 15th at 7 o'clock. Thank you. All right, thank you very much. We are back in open session at 9:38 PM on December the 8th, and we will go to action resulting from closed session.
Need a motion to approve the resolution of the dismissal of educational support personnel employee as listed.
So,
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jewett, seconded by Ms. Klingler. Hearing no additional conversation, roll call, please.
Mr. De Vera,
yes.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Yeah.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes,
Miss Lee,
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Need a motion to approve the closed session meeting minutes of November 17th, 2025, regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Klingler, seconded by Mr. Jewett. Hearing no additional conversation, roll call, please.
Ms. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Tavera,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Yeah.
Mrs. Klingler.
Yes.
Motion carries, and that will bring us to adjournment. We are adjourned at 9:39 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Our next meeting will be on Monday the 15th at 7 o'clock. Have a great evening.